Nana Delcy, you've been isolated.
Huh?
See?
My mother-in-law took out her pocket planner and pointed out the birthdays of my husband, my elder daughter, and my younger daughter, who I had just given birth to.
Luna and Lynn were both born in September. Kyle was also. But you...
She flipped a few pages and pointed again.
Only you are born in July. You've been isolated.
Isolated? I just gave birth to Lynn 2 days earlier. Listening to what my mother-in-law had to say when she came to visit the hospital after I gave birth to Lynn left me stunned. Not a single word of congratulations. She just told me that I've been isolated. My name is Nana Delcy. I'm 33 years old. I just gave birth to my second daughter, Lynn. I first met my husband, Kyle, when we were in college, and we got married after we graduated. With my 2 daughters, Luna and Lynn, I have a very fulfilling family life. The only issue is my mother-in-law. She's the type of person that has to be with someone else at all times. Whether she's going to the store or even to the bathroom, someone has to be with her. When she goes out for lunch, she always looks around, and if she sees someone eating on their own, she'll laugh and yell out,
"Look, that person has been isolated and is now eating all on their own. They don't even have a single friend."
I didn't understand her reasoning at all. I enjoyed going out to eat on my own, and in general, I was the type of person who really valued my alone time. Kyle's father passed away around the time Kyle and I got married, so his mother immediately asked to move in with us. The reasoning she gave us was that if we isolated her, everyone around would laugh at us. That reason made no sense to me, but we decided that she'll need someone to take care of her soon enough, and that if we made a room for her on the second floor of our home, we would be able to live together without being too involved in each other's private lives. It didn't take much time for me to understand that was a giant mistake. In no time, she began using her isolation mindset to harass me. If I went to the movies alone, she would say I'm probably going to watch movies that I'm too embarrassed to watch with others. If I went to a cafe alone, she would say that anyone who sees me would think I'm upset at my family. She had opinions about everything I did. She couldn't grasp why someone would ever do anything on their own. Objectively speaking, her logic made no sense, but she was unwavering. I enjoyed doing things on my own, so having my actions always treated like they were bad was very frustrating and tiring. I was just getting used to handling her way of thinking, when one day there was an incident. Luna had just started elementary school. That day I picked Lynn from preschool and returned home. My mother-in-law came down from the second floor in a flurry.
"Hey, I heard you didn't sign Luna up for the after-school kids club."
After-school kids club? I didn't think it was a big deal, so it took me some time to understand what was the issue. Yeah, it was optional after all. Luna was going to piano lessons on the weekend, which overlapped with some of the club meetings.
"If you don't sign her up, she'll be isolated by all the kids in the neighborhood. Kids who are always on their own either won't be able to make friends, or they'll become retarded."
Become retarded? I cringed at her use of that word. Luna says she wants to learn piano. The kids club meets on the same day as the lessons, so she can't do both. That's why we didn't sign her up. I tried to explain in an easy to understand way.
"You really are defective, aren't you? When you go to the supermarket on your own, I'm sure everyone that sees you probably thinks that you're alone because you're horrible at cooking. To think you're trying to make my adorable granddaughter defective like you are? You're a curse to the family."
After rambling on for a while, my mother-in-law returned to her room while sobbing. Defective? Retarded? A curse to the family? The amount of labels she was putting on me just because I occasionally did things on my own made me shudder. I tried talking to Kyle about it, but he just said, "She's just that type of person. Even if you do your best to convince her, she won't change. Luna wants to learn piano, so we should let her." He didn't seem to take it very seriously. But he's not wrong. His mother may be like that, but our little family is happy. That's thanks to my husband and daughters. For the sake of my family, I decided I would just deal with what my mother-in-law was always saying. But from that day on, my mother-in-law decided that I was trying to isolate our entire family from society. She harassed, not just because she disliked me, but also because she wanted to exorcise a demon from the family. One day, I overheard my mother-in-law on the phone with Kyle's elder sister. Overheard. It'd be more correct to say she spoke at a volume so that I have no choice but to hear. I was in the kitchen washing the dishes. My mother-in-law was using the landline in the living room, which was right next to the kitchen. There was no way I wouldn't overhear.
"The other day, I saw Kyle's wife going to karaoke alone. She was probably going to practice singing."
I stopped washing the dishes because my hands began shaking. How closely was she watching over me? When did she see me? It's true I occasionally go on my own to a karaoke box in the area. I've never felt guilty about it. I go because of my mother-in-law's bullying. I go to avoid my mother-in-law's attacks and talks of isolation. I belt out songs as loudly as I can to de-stress so I can keep my sanity at home. Each time I go, I also have a gin and tonic. I consider it my alone time and a precious chance to recharge. I go for an hour each time and it's located in a somewhat hidden corner of the local shopping center, so I didn't think she would ever see me. My mother-in-law continued.
"She's definitely horrible at singing and is practicing so she can get good enough for people to not isolate her."
She snickered. It was a shock to hear that. She had been watching me secretly, but my emotions exceeded that. I felt how condescendingly she viewed me because I did things on my own. I felt embarrassed for enjoying alone time. And I felt ridiculed for my hobby. I couldn't take it anymore. "Hey!" My mother-in-law hung up the phone.
"You heard? Eavesdropping like that, you really are rude." "Eavesdropping, how perverse."
"Weren't you the one talking in a way for me to overhear?" I wanted to contradict what she said, but I instead asked directly. "About seeing me to the karaoke box alone?"
"If you heard, then you know what I said. If you wanted to practice singing, you could have told me and we'd go together. Going in secret. What were you trying to keep hidden? It doesn't matter if you aren't good at singing. That's why no one can trust you. Oh well, you'll get punished for your actions. Just wait and see."
After saying this, she laughed and went up to her room. I had a bad feeling about this.
"Just wait and see."
It felt like she was cursing me. What's going to happen? As I put away the dishes, I couldn't help but worry. That "just wait and see" was too ominous. Then came the day when all the dissatisfaction and anxiety I had been keeping trapped inside blew up in my mother-in-law's face. It was at a family New Year's party. Kyle had many uncles and aunts. Family gatherings were always huge, so once a year they rented an event space at a nearby hotel and threw a New Year's party. There we line up a bunch of tables together and eat dinner together. This time the event space came with a karaoke set. The elder members of the family went one by one drunkenly singing their favorite oldies until my mother-in-law suddenly spoke out.
"The party sure is in full swing. Let's have Anna Delcy sing a song for us. She has been practicing her singing on her own this whole time. I'm sure it must have been for today."
The whole family cheered and laughed. My mother-in-law had probably gossiped to the entire family. I'm sure the entire family had laughed at me behind my back and commented how I'm going secretly because I'm not good at singing. That must be why the family reacted with cheers and laughs when she first called me out. I won't let her get away with this. Just like everything else I've pushed through, I'll go through this for the sake of Kyle and our daughters. I will make sure she gets what she deserves for trying to humiliate me in front of everyone. I stood up, expressionless.
Come on, pick a song you like.
I took the remote control and selected my song. When I began singing, the laughter immediately stopped. Taking a deep breath, Ave Maria, Jungfrau mild. That's right, I chose to sing Ellen's third song, Schubert's Ave Maria. The song's lyrics tell the story of Ellen Douglas, the Lady of the Lake. As she was being chased by a cruel queen, she sang to Mother Mary to pray for her safety. Just like Ellen Douglas, I wanted to escape from my mother-in-law. This is the sound of my prayers. The song expressed the feelings I had been keeping in my heart. When I reached the end of the song, Kyle's family erupted in applause. Looking around, I saw everyone was on their feet.
Amazing. To think I could listen to this song live, and from so close.
Kyle also began tearing up. Overwhelming by the standing ovation, I took a bow. Once the music ended, the room was silent for a while.
There's no way.
My mother-in-law's voice trembled.
This, practicing on her own? Making me think she was bad at singing? She obviously did all that to trick me.
She claimed I had set her up. So she had this tactic up her sleeve too. She was trying to isolate me, wasn't she? My mother was falling apart. She lifted her head to the ceiling, and her eyes floated around. I was actually in the gospel club in university. Kyle and I first started dating because he was attracted by my voice, but postpartum thyroiditis had damaged my vocal cords. Suddenly unable to sing, I would go to the karaoke box on my own to attempt to restore my singing abilities. I had heard from Kyle that there would be a karaoke set at the party, and I had a feeling his mother would try to use that to pick on me. And my guess that she would try to force me to sing in order to make me the laughingstock of the family was correct. I had prepared myself for this. Everyone else was touched by my song, but my mother-in-law was obviously upset. That's enough. A voice I knew very well spoke up. It was my husband, Kyle.
Mom, all you care about is what others think about you. All you care about is blending in and looking good on the outside.
He continued.
I was always sad and lonely. What I wanted to do in my spare time, my dreams for the future, my major in college, you would just force me to do whatever you thought was most socially acceptable. Instead of caring about your son, you cared about everyone around.
After suppressing all these feelings this whole time, Kyle finally opened his heart. He turned to me.
Anna Delcy, when talking about Mom, I said that people don't change, right? People are flexible when they're young, but the older they get, the more stubborn they become.
Then he turned back to his mother.
Mom, we lived together, but I'll need you to move out. I love Anna Delcy. Trying to shame her like this in front of everyone is something I can't accept as the head of our family. No, I can't accept it as Anna Delcy's husband. People don't change, so my family won't be meeting you anymore.
Kyle's mother opened and closed her mouth as if to say something, but no words came out. In order to not make the entire party awkward, I was ready. I felt like I was back to being the old me. Gospel is the song of the soul. Does anyone have a song they want to listen to? Or a song they want to sing? Let's all sing together. Karaoke can be sung by one person, but it's also fun when sung by everyone together. Kyle's uncle, who was tipsy, stood up.
That's right. Let's lift our spirits by singing Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, Ode to Joy.
Kyle's uncle's singing was ridiculously out of pitch, but he seemed to enjoy himself. Singing isn't about being good or bad. It's about how it feels. I did my best to match him in a harmony. Partway through, the rest of our relatives also joined in. Luna grabbed my hand and spoke softly.
Mom, I want to be able to play this song on piano one day.
I squeezed her hand back. My sister-in-law also came up to me later.
You have a beautiful voice.
I smiled in reply. I believe singing is great both when done on your own as well as when done with everyone. While the rest of us celebrated the new year with a bright collection of songs, my mother-in-law slumped in the back gloomily. 1 week later, Kyle found a one-room rental. He made his mother move in there to reflect on her actions.
You should be able to afford this place with your savings. From now on, you will be living a life that I guess will make you ashamed to face society. What kind of life do you have to live to be able to face society anyways?
Though it's a bit ironic, Kyle's mother was isolated. Kyle's uncle said that for next year's family New Year's party, we'll rent a place with a piano so Luna can play for us.
Sing for us again next year. Ode to Joy was really fun. In the second half, everyone joined in, but in the beginning, you and I were able to have our own duet.
Kyle's mother doesn't seem to regret what she'd done, even though she's stuck living on her own now, so we don't plan on inviting her to the party next year. She's been isolated by not just us, but by her entire family as well. Actually, Luna and I have something we've kept secret from Kyle. Expecting his mother to pull a stunt like that, Luna and I went multiple times to the karaoke box together to practice singing Ave Maria before the New Year's party. Taking after me, Luna was not just good at piano, but she also had a wonderful singing voice. No matter what I do, my voice isn't what it used to be, so Luna and I made a plan. When my mother-in-law told me to sing, I secretly slid the karaoke machine's second microphone to Luna. She sang while I lip-synced. No one noticed, so our plan was a complete success. But now, because of that, I have to sing in front of everyone at the New Year's party every year. Karaoke became necessary training to maintain my voice.
Next year, let's duet UB40's Red Red Wine.
I'm going to have to break my back practicing. Solo karaoke while sipping on a gin and tonic. It's the best. Cheers to life. Bravo Ave Maria.